glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show. What's up to everyone that's in chat right now? Of course, the 49ers were unable to get it done against the Philadelphia Eagles. Injury to Brock Purdy early on in this game definitely changed the tone of, what was going to happen. I think that, that injury, after that, it was tough sledding for the 49ers offense for sure. McCaffrey still had one of the sickest runs I think I've seen from a 49ers running back in a long time. That was fantastic. So, absolutely love that. And what's up to everyone in chat? I hope you guys, are hanging in there. It was a tough game. Like Cruz said, sometimes the NFL feels like trash, but it was a tough one. And, the Eagles are no joke. They're a good football team. I'm not sure, that they're as great as, some said they were, but they're pretty good. Mr. Corey says terrible luck, but that's football. Yeah, when you lose, you go through the quarterbacks you went through, Trey, Jimmy, and then Brock, you're just not going to be able to get it done. So they weren't unable to win. They're going to have to regroup. Kyle Shanahan's been to 3 NFC championships in 4 years, and they're going to have to figure out how to try to get back next year and redo it. There'll be a lot of interesting questions during the offseason, of course. But you know what? It's this is football. This is how things go. So you win some, you lose some, and unfortunately, they lost. But it was, and that's what D-Real says. Fourth string quarterback too much. We still fought. Yeah, the defense, played tough. I thought it was interesting. You had the Devontae Smith. He didn't really catch that football. That would have been a huge catch for the NFL. They didn't catch that. And those things went the Eagles' way. And sometimes that's how it goes. Things go the other way. And then next thing you know, you're in a situation where you're behind, and the 49ers were not going to be able to come back without Brock Purdy being fully healthy, and especially with Brock Purdy not being able to throw. Once it was apparent he wasn't be able to throw, that's it. And Paul says, "What if? What if? I know, but if that fourth down throw in the first quarter, first drive had been called correctly." It could have changed things. It could have. And Lou says, it was a nice ride this season. Brock Purdy gives me great hope, along with Lance, for next season. The one important takeaway is the importance of having 2 quarterbacks. Priceless. I think also I have a little concerns about Brock Purdy with the elbow. I'm hoping it's something that doesn't need Tommy John or something like that. That would keep him out, for most of the next season, if not the whole season. So that's something to monitor as well. But you're right. Having Brock and having Trey, the 49ers have a good quarterback situation moving forward. Oscar says, we lost. It's all good. I had fun and a blessed day. Right. It was a great season. We had a lot of things go the 49ers way. They came through tremendous adversity through the year, overcoming injuries to, 2 quarterbacks and still playing good. And it was a stretch of 12 straight wins. It was really fun to watch. Soothing Sounds' big miss drop on the 4th down to give them the TD was huge turning point. Agreed. Mary says, with no draft picks next year. Oh, what do you mean no draft picks? The 49ers have close to 11 draft picks. They'll probably get more draft picks if DeMeco Ryans leaves. So it's not that they don't have draft picks. They just don't have draft picks in the traditional first 3 rounds. But they do have, picks to use. And you got to remember, we have players that were drafted in that range. Spencer Burford, 4th round pick. Dre Greenlaw, 5th round pick. George Kittle, 5th round pick. Deommodore Lenoir, 5th round pick. Talanoa Hufanga, 5th round pick. Elijah Mitchell, 6th round pick. Brock Purdy, 7th round pick. Those are all picks the 49ers have in this, in this upcoming season. So they'll be okay. It's just, you got to regroup and figure it out. No team is ever the same. I think that's a little upsetting. We'll never see this exact, incarnation of the 49ers again. And that's disappointing, but it's frustrating. Mr. Corey said, who knows? Maybe Kyle would have blown it as usual, not challenging that catch. I don't know. And the thing is with the way the NFL handles it, most of the time they've been handling this with their bird's eye view, and they did not. So, that's just something. 5th string quarterback, CMC, just bad luck. Doesn't work good. Ernest, this one hurts. No money. They do have money because they're going to pay. They're going to be paying Nick Bosa. They have money coming off the books with Jimmy Garoppolo. I know that's the thought process. There's no money. There's no draft picks. The sky is falling, but that's not the case. They'll figure it out. Why didn't they just have CMC or Juice play quarterback? Because at least Brock Purdy knows how to operate the offense. He can run all the run plays. He's very very equipped to do that. Those guys don't have an understanding of which way to turn, where to get the ball in the right spots, where to pitch the football. It's tough when you get to one of those guys. They weren't going to be able to throw any better than Brock Purdy, so you just move on. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you got to the point where you didn't have a quarterback that could do it. What's up, Spy Dick Danger? How's it going? Jelly says long developing play should have not been called by Shanny. He was trying to stick to the game plan there. And really that one that Hassan Reddick gets home, it's not really that long of a play. Reddick was able to get to the edge a little bit faster. I thought they probably thought they had Croft far enough out to make him be far enough for the wide 9. But Croft didn't get enough of him, and he was able to get around the outside. And he made a great play. That's a half-second difference. A half-second later, it's probably a completion by Brock Purdy. So, Mr. Corey says that call wasn't changing anything with a 4-string quarterback. No, but that call happened before you lost your quarterback. Different situations, right? So it just changes some things. Who thinks that was a great season for sure? Just a tough loss. Yeah, I think that's how we're all feeling. Forever blessed, can't win with no quarterback. Yeah, I think that's that's what we're all feeling right now. But John Paul says just frustrating losing like this. This feels cursed to get 6. Just how I feel right now. I think we're all going to feel that way. JLE says great season, terrible way to end it. It didn't feel good. Lou says they have 13 picks, so the 49ers definitely have plenty of picks to do something, get it done. If we're ever saying the same thing, we got tons of draft picks. It's going to be okay. Blake Brown says helmet to the elbow. I keep watching that play. No targeting. I thought there was some interesting calls in the game. I don't think they end up being the difference overall because we don't have Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy being healthy would have changed the outcome as far as the 49ers offense could have stayed on the field longer, which means the defense didn't have to stay on the field longer. So I think that really hurt. And, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Forever Blessed said should have been a roughing call with a sack on 4-string. I agree. Those have been calls on the 49ers this year. Those have been calls on other teams, right? Who was it that threw Tom Brady down and got a call during this season? So they've protected the quarterbacks. For whatever reason, NFL officials do not protect when you get backup quarterbacks in. They don't protect them. It's one of the most interesting thing that I've ever seen. Chris says, fan of 49ers for 30 years. Awesome, Chris. Yeah, we'll keep staying faithful. We'll see, how it's going to go, in the off season and what they're going to do. Ken says next year, let's go Niners. Good show, Ant. Thank you so much. Daryl says, with a super chat, thanks so much, Daryl says, damn family, sick to my stomach with all of this. Connor says my favorite part of this game is Trent Williams body slamming 42. That's on the officials, Connor, too. That's the NFL officials not breaking up the scrum before it got to that point. So then Trent Williams took it into his own hands and threw him down. That is an NFL officials inefficiency to handle the situation. That's on them. That went on way too long. It started with Ayuk, then they were getting into Deebo Samuel's face as well. That stuff's got to be ended early because it wasn't. You're getting guys kicked out. Now Trent Williams will get a nice hefty fine. But yeah. And Zach Towns Izzy says literally every one of our quarterbacks hurt. Every single one of them. There was, you had Trey and Jimmy on the sidelines. They're hurt. Brock got hurt. Josh Johnson got hurt. It was crazy. So, how do you block Reddick with Croft? I think it's more about the distance they were going to get him out, and then you're going to get rid of the football on time. Reddick did a good job of bending the corner, and Croft didn't get enough of a set to kind of just give a push. All you're trying to do is make him hesitate a half a second, and I think, it didn't work. Props to Reddick. He made a great play. So I think that you give props to him, but, Bolt Bros podcast is a super frustrating way to end the season. And Coach Ralph says respect now. I don't know what the respect problem is. We never did disrespect to the Eagles. The only one showing disrespect has been Eagles fans, to be honest with you. 49er fans have been super respectful, at least on this channel. So I don't know. I've been talking back and forth with Eagle fans all week. The only ones that have been disrespectful have been Eagle fans. So just remember that when you're having your respect now comments. Bolt Bro says Niners are my second team. Grew up in San Francisco area. Now I don't give it about the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, the Super Bowl will still be fun. It's football. I'm a football fan, and I'll love every minute of it. I probably won't root for the Eagles. I'm just going to keep it real. I don't like the way they equip themselves, the way Nick Sirianni handled himself. I don't think that I can root for a team that's like that. So I will go ahead and root for whoever wins, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and I'll enjoy every minute of it. Oh, the Dark Knight says, bang, bang, Niners massacred. How's the Cowboys taste? Why would the Cowboys tears taste? We don't care about that, right? I mean, no one cares. Rich says that's football for you. I wanted to win. Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. We all wanted to win. And that's the thing. It's like you're not gonna, the way things happened. It's how it goes. You know what I mean? It's how it goes. And sometimes, I see acted like children at the end. I don't know if you're referring to the Eagles or the 49ers. I felt like both teams let themselves kind of get out of character. That's not how you win, and that's not how you lose. Both teams needed to act in a better manner because you have people watching and kids that are watching that see that, and you don't want them to think that's how you handle winning or losing. You got to be a good winner and you got to be a good loser. In both situations, it's frustrating for sure. Your season's coming to an end and the emotions overflow. But you've got to, handle yourself differently. And I think there was wrong on both sides. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the 49ers were in the right because I don't think they were. But I think both teams handled it wrong at the end. You got to make sure you handle it the right way. And Labby says, root for Cincy. Go Bengals for Super Bowl, says Traffic. Yeah, we'll see. And, Mr. Sinister in the house is bang, bang, Niner gang for life. There you go. Keeping it real. Chili says 49ers in the playoffs and Super Bowl have a crazy habit of fumbling the ball, muffling upon injury. INTs. Well, I mean, kind of the problems come from the quarterback. You had the one, I mean, it's legit. Hassan Reddick makes a good play. The next one, you have Josh Johnson just taking his eye off the football. That's a guy you never expected to play. I don't think that's the history of the 49ers. The 49ers were a team that in their history has taken care of the football and done really well throughout the years. So, yeah, and Brad says, but seriously, penalties and quarterback injury hurt us. That's where it was. Once Brock Purdy couldn't officially play, right? I mean, Christian McCaffrey got it close. The defense kept it close for a while. They played really tough for a long time, but eventually, if they have that many opportunities, what are you going to do, right? The defense is eventually going to give some stuff up. Who was the MVP? I don't know. It's got to be Miles Sanders, right? I mean, he had the 2 big running touchdowns. To me, he outplayed anyone on their offense. I thought, he had a really good game. I thought Kenneth Gainwell played well. I thought Jalen Hurts looked okay. I didn't think he looked great. I didn't think he looked bad. I thought he looked okay. I thought the 49ers did a good job keeping him, kind of bottled up for most of the game. And I'm sure the second half, once they knew too, 49ers didn't have a quarterback. They pretty much just handled it. So I'm okay. I'm okay with, if it was like Miles Sanders or someone like that, or even Hassan Reddick with 2 sacks. He played fantastic too. I don't know if they'll give it to a defensive player, but to me, he had the biggest effect on the game. If you really think about it, Hassan Reddick did. Rich is saying penalties and injuries killed us. I think you're right. I think when it came down to it, Brock Purdy's injury was the biggest point because you can overcome a lot. You can't overcome losing your 4th string quarterback or 3rd string and then 4th string quarterback. And I don't want to get it twisted and act like Brock Purdy's a 3rd string quarterback because he's not. Brock Purdy is he's a good football player, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that could start in this league. It's unfortunate, but if it's the nerve like they're talking about, he can't even feel the football. You could see the throws, even the screen he made to Christian McCaffrey, the one to George Kittle. What's crazy is he was still 100% on his passes, even though he can't even throw the ball. Forever Blessed says Eagles D-line was offsides all game. I thought there were a couple of things here and there, but I'm not gonna pick at the refs, even though there was some weird calls throughout the entire game. If these are the all-star refs, right? Frank says, wish the Jimmy had been active today, even just as a 3rd string. Yeah, I think he just wasn't good. They did the, they did the x-rays and he just wasn't ready to go. So that's unfortunate. Brass says we lost our first game of the season because of penalties and ill discipline, and we lost our last game because of penalties. I think we lost this game less because of penalties and more because of Brock Purdy's injury. Because I think once Brock got hurt, it changed the way you had to play offense. Josh Johnson made mistakes. He couldn't get in and out of the huddle consistently, which I was expecting a veteran to be able to do. So I think that's, one of those things that you understand is that kind of can happen to you when you get to that quarterback. Brock Purdy at the helm, I think it would have been a lot tougher. I'm not saying the 49ers, would have won if they would have had these kind of penalties. But I think you don't know because Brock Purdy's hurt. One thing I do know is the Eagles wouldn't have been up 21-7 at half. I'm pretty sure it would have been a little bit closer than that. And that turnover by, at the end of the first half was huge. It was really big. And SLL says Andy Reid going to get payback. Wouldn't that be a storyline? We'll see if they have Travis Kelce. I don't know if anyone's heard if they're going to have Kelce today. He hurt his back. But could you imagine Kansas City versus Philadelphia? That would be kind of fun, huh? Frank says, when is the draft? It's the last weekend of April. I don't know exactly. The 49ers don't pick until the end of day 2. They have third-round compensation picks, so it's going to be a long wait until they pick. Rich says, plus that fourth down should have been reviewed. All fourth down should be reviewed when converted. They have the eye in the sky. Pro Football Talk came out and said it. Rich Eisen was talking about it. Greenberg from ESPN, Mike Greenberg said there were some things. I let them say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to get into come into those. And then SL Million says Kyle Shanahan is a genius until it comes to common sense. Why the F did you not have Jimmy suited up? My guess is he wasn't healthy enough. He didn't go through any warm-ups or practice. And so, they were hoping he would be ready for this week, but he wasn't. So I think that's what happened with Jimmy Garoppolo. Brad says, do you think Flack Shanahan is going to take us fair? Because I don't. I don't know exactly what do you think the flack Shanahan is going to take is fair? I don't think he should get any flack. I really don't. I don't think you can examine this game now after the injury to Brock Purdy and put it on the coach or put it on most of the players. I mean, how are you going to break down this film and say, oh, this guy played bad and this guy played bad? You literally lost the linchpin of your offense, and you could see Josh Johnson couldn't get it done. They were doing everything they could. Christian McCaffrey's run was spectacular. Once that happened, it was tough. It really was. Daly says, true, and whoever took out Purdy would be the Eagles MVP. Hassan Reddick. And it was a key play because it ended up being a fumble and, turning it over. But, I mean, the injury, too. I mean, that was huge. It was just a really, really bad penalty and turnover and everything like that. So, Lou says, and I'm sad we lost, but damn, what a great run. Thanks for the great season of 49ers Cutback. You are number one. Much success moving forward. Thank you. And I would also like to say to everybody, of course, I'm going to continue content throughout the off season, but I would like to thank everyone that's been coming through and, and being, on here and interacting with me on an every single day. You guys are the best. And so thank you guys so much for coming through every single day and talking 49ers. And, just because the season stops doesn't mean 49ers stop. There'll be things to discuss during the offseason, and we'll get into it, I'm sure. But yeah, Lou, thanks. You're one of the great ones. And Lou, I got to meet at the draft party last year. So last year we actually had a second round pick. This year we do not. Connor says new rule, not allowed to hit the quarterback's arm. Purdy rule. I don't think that's ever going to be the case. I mean, it's actually taught that way. I used to teach my defensive edge rushers to attack that backside of the quarterback and attack that arm and try to affect the ball. The ball comes out of his hands. It's a sack. You get the ball on the ground. It was well executed by Hassan Reddick. I mean, he did it right. It's unfortunate for the 49ers because they lost their quarterback. H. Williams says Mitchell being out also hurt us. Drop the ball on that challenge. Well, I mean, this is the thing, right? The NFL is supposed to have that quick, rapid review that they've been using in the playoffs. They've been executing with the eye in the sky and all that. They didn't do it on this one. They just didn't. And that's the thing. Kyle Shanahan can't get that view in time. Those are views the NFL has in New York. They didn't do it. The only thing I would say is if you saw, the way that Devontae Smith was doing this, maybe that's it. And Kaimi says lost our quarterback. That's it. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, once he was hurt, I mean, there's nothing you got to. Jelly says, Jimmy too busy smiling on the sidelines. Get him out of here. That's one of the things. You examine what these guys are doing on the sidelines, but what is he supposed to do, right? I mean, at some point, you just sit back and you just stop, evaluating how Jimmy's reacting. You can't keep a frown the whole game. You just got to interact with other people. And he's not in a mindset of playing anyways. He's going to be gone. I hope he gets a great contract. I hope Jimmy lands somewhere nice. I'm not going to hate on him, though, for what he's doing on the sidelines. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. I can't get on that. So, Jan says, at least we're not seeing any fans burning jerseys. Yeah, hopefully none of that. Forkel says, Kyle should have known better than to block Reddick with Croft. You can't take that risk on your third quarterback of the season, in my opinion. I mean, we could criticize that. I think it was because he had him in a significant stretch. I mean, if you look, Tyler Kroft is not close, to the tackle. He's off ball. He's stretched out. Reddick is coming from a very long distance. They felt like he could get enough on him and get that ball out. It did not work out. It was a calculated risk. It didn't work out. And you still have a guy that gets hurt. I bleed red and gold says, still proud of this team this year and our future with Purdy. I'm with you. I'm still proud of them. They battled till the very end. Even when they turn into a high school team with no quarterback, and they're still just running the football. They were still battling till the end. The defense still battled till the end. They never gave up. You have to at least give them give them credit for that. And Traffic says this season wasn't a failure. There's only 4 teams playing. That means 28 other teams would have loved to lose the NFC title game. You're right. I mean, this is the situations you want to be in. It's unfortunate you don't get to the ultimate goal of the Super Bowl. That's where you want to get. That's where you strive, and it's difficult to get there. And I think that, getting there is just harder and harder all the time. There's good players, and you just got to go in there and get it done. And Mary says, do we have our right tackle a new contract? I don't know what's going to happen with McGlinchey. We'll see. We'll see, what the contract looks like. If it ends up getting too expensive, I'm sure he will be, on the move. But, yeah. SL says, I still want my coach to be Kyle, but we had the worst injury you could get. Debo didn't do Debo things outside of Hawks game. I think they had to change their entire game plan without Brock. It changed. I mean, that's the first drive of the game. We didn't really get to see what Kyle's game plan would have looked like with Debo and Christian McCaffrey and all that because we don't have a healthy quarterback. It changed everything. It really did. I don't know what the time of possession was for the Eagles. I'm sure it was extremely high, especially when the 49ers couldn't move the football with their backup quarterbacks. So I don't know. And SL says, love the channel, so Cutback crew. Thanks so much, SL. Always love when you come through. Yeah, JD says, bang, bang, Niner gang. Sucks to lose like this, but it is what it is. It's football. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And it's unfortunate when you lose, but you have to know how to lose, and you have to regroup and figure it out. It's a long process when you lose to this point. You want to get to these points where you can, you have a chance to win a championship, but the losses hurt even more. That's what stinks. So in one way, you're like, man, I really want to get there. I mean, because it could have sucked. Our season could have ended 3 weeks ago, but it didn't. And the players worked their butts off. I was at every single day of training camp this year, and it was fantastic. So, I mean, I think that is what's great about this team is how tough the season was, things they overcame, and that they were still playing at the end. So does the play and the loss hurt? Yes, but in the grand scheme, these are the type of situations you want to be in. So you have to give credit to your team, credit to your coach, credit to your front office for putting their team in the situation for this, so fans like us can enjoy these games. So I love it. And Bulbro says, this channel is great. Love it, man. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. Mr. Sis says, get those damn likes up, Faithful. I appreciate that as well. Yeah, SL says Jimbo and Lance were laughing it up. I mean, I think they were laughing it up because at that point, Kyle Juszczyk and Christian McCaffrey were trying to figure out how to play quarterback. I mean, I don't know what you do at that point besides just kind of chuckle a little bit. I don't know what you're doing. And then David Monty says, are we not talking about Shanahan not throwing that flag at the beginning of the game? I would have thrown it. I think they should have. I think he should have thrown it. I think there were signals that made it sound like he should have thrown it. I think the NFL themselves, the eye in the sky, has supposed to have been quick review on this. They should have been a part of it, like Pro Football Talk said. But yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about, something to criticize, that could be it, right? You got to get that done. Golden Dragon says quarterback Brock was laughing with George Kittle. Kittle was trying to loosen him up. He knew he couldn't throw. I mean, what are you going to do at that point, right? He's the last hope. You're just trying to loosen things up and make sure, guys aren't too tense, while you're trying to play. In those situations, I've been in those situations where it's like, you know what? Today's not our day. How do you handle it? Well, someone like Brock's going to take all the weight on him because he got hurt. So Gabriel F says Niners were a better team. It's obvious. Eagles are talk and would not have won that game legit. They're a good team. I don't know what would happen. Travis says, who do you got in tonight's game? I like Cincy. I'm taking Cincy as well, even though somebody almost convinced me earlier. I don't know who it was. I forgot already. Seeing Andy Reid and Kansas City against the Eagles will be kind of fun talk. On the road to victory, you guys did a great, and Purdy is definitely going to be a force. Well, thank you so much. And, your Eagles team is good. They got talent, the good defense. I wish we could have seen a game that didn't have Purdy hurt, because then we would have known it would have got settled on the field, but you got to go, hey, this is how the cookie crumbles. You get injuries, and that's how things happen. And, the Eagles, they took care of business. They got the win. They still had to score on the 49ers defense, and they did. They took advantage of 49ers mistakes. Paul Gaines says, that's why I said get Kaepernick, but no, we get Josh Johnson. So sick of the crowd. Covert racism. Cat play. Why didn't Kyle throw the challenge flag on the 4th down? I don't know. I mean, he gets called, right? So we never saw the angle that they showed Mike Pereira. I know when I was watching the TV view, they didn't show that until after the commercial break, after the touchdown had already happened. Like, they just let it go. You never got that angle. So Kyle would have had to get a full reaction from how he was responding, how Devontae Smith was responding. Jimmy Ward actually made a great play knocking the ball out. But they didn't do it. I mean, Kyle, I'm sure, is going to, beat himself up for that. But you're hoping someone from the box tells you. But in the same regard, if they don't, they might not have that angle either. And if they don't have that angle, how are they supposed to do it in that amount of time? So it's crazy. It is really crazy. And Forever Blessed says, convenient. Mitchell doesn't play. The quarterback's out on phantom injury. Then Josh out with a ghost injury. I mean, Josh Johnson hit his head hard. I would not be shocked if he, that the concussion was legit. I think that concussion was legit. SL says, but to not call roughing the passer on Sue, that took out our 4th stringer. They would have called it if it was Bosa. I think they would have called it if it was Brock Purdy getting hit or one of those guys. I think a lot of times they don't call it on backup quarterbacks for whatever reason. That's kind of how the NFL goes. Hugo G, what's up? Says TCC family, I'm here. What's up, Hugo? How's it going? Traffic says, is it possible to still trade Jimmy? I know a free agent, but if multiple teams want him, can you trade him before the free agent opens? No. So he will officially, he's a free agent now. So I know it's not official until the new league year starts, but he'll be there. And that's it. And Siggy Slice says, hey, faithful, what a run. Football gods giveth and football gods taketh away. Tore my heart out, but faithful till the end, Niners forever. I like that sentiment. I like that. I doubt it says, the only way to lose 4 quarterbacks in one season if your head coach is cursed. I don't know if he's cursed. I mean, it's unfortunate they had these injuries, but every quarterback, especially Jimmy once he got going good. Brock after that, he really got going good. They won some games. 49ers Josh says, tip my cap to the Eagles, but man, it hurts. But another offseason ahead of us with no ring. Got to get it done next year. Proud of our boys. But luck sometimes doesn't matter. You're right. John says, hell of a season, boys. I'm with you, John. Well said. SL, I can't just imagine Eagle fans' reaction if the 49ers took out Hurts in the first quarter. I'm sure they would have, some bad thoughts like we do. It's frustrating. But, it happened. And Bob says, unfortunately, we'll never know who is the best in the NFC this year. Fate and the refs stopped it today. I mean, I think the injury definitely presents it. Frank says, aloha, faithful, Hawaii beckons. Yeah. Jim says, you got to the NFC Championship game with a 3rd-string quarterback, draft O-line help, and strap it on next season. Yeah, I mean, you got to be excited about some of the things. We found out some good things, right? Diamo Lenore, he's stepping up. He played tough again today. Talanoa Hufanga, since he's cleaned up his eyes, he's been spectacular again. I think, you've seen guys step up. Dre Greenlaw took another step forward. There's been a lot of good things, for the 49ers. Of course, one of the main things they're going to have to do is re-sign Nick Bosa in the offseason. And then I think after that, you're probably going to have to figure out, some way to get another edge rusher. Will they bring back Samson Ebukam, Charles Omenihu? Those guys are going to be free agents. Or will they go another route? How good will Drake Jackson be next year? I think those are all, some things to get remembered. Kim says, very disappointed the way the game went for us. It wasn't fun. It really wasn't. And then David says, why don't we throw the challenge flag? I could tell something was up. I could too. I mean, I think I was calling for him to throw the flag. I don't know what he heard, but you never know. I bleed red and gold with the super chat says, thanks for all the content. To a great season. It's still red and gold till I'm dead and cold. Faithful, never waver. And thank you so much. You've been a great addition to the Cutback crew. Been enjoying, interacting with you the entire season. Looking forward to a fun offseason. We'll have some more, fun interactions, of course. It won't be the same way because, we were not going to have the game. We're not going to have, the games to talk about, but, we'll have optimism. We'll get more optimism, sure. So, and JLE says Purdy gutted it out. Hey, he went back in there and he did what he could for the offense. He couldn't throw the ball. Once that happened, it was all done after that, right? It was all done. I doubt it could have had Mayfield and we went and got Josh Johnson. Actually, we couldn't have had Mayfield because Baker Mayfield got claimed by the Rams. They had a claim ahead of the 49ers because they had a worse record. So we couldn't have got Baker Mayfield. Josh Johnson was a smart route to go at the time because they could sign him off the practice squad. They knew they were going to go with Brock Purdy. So, yeah. Yeah, and Susie says, poor kid, he was shaking his bones off. I seen his hand shaking as he puts his mouthpiece in his helmet. I'm sure he's highly disappointed for sure. And Tom's saying we could have gotten Tom Brady and we could have been on a third straight trip to the Super Bowl and third straight win. That's something I'm sure that people will talk about during the offseason. Haley says Eagles had 0 holding penalties. That's impressive. What's up, Jim? How's it going? Says as long as he doesn't TJ, Brock will be okay. More Jimmy G ride with Purdy and Trey. Yeah, I think as long as it's not Tommy John, it'll be okay. And what's up? Let's see. What's up, Tom? How's it going? Eve, how's it going? Lots of people talking on here. I was trying to see if there's any really good comments. What's up, Uncle Rob? How's it going? Says Go Niners. Moving on to next season. All you can do at this point. Bob coming through with reminds me of the 1983 championship game against Washington. Yeah, that one, right? That one's ridiculous. I do remember this one. So, I mean, of course, I've had to go back and watch it because I'm not really old enough to watch it at that moment. But you're right. It does give those feels, right? And not quite like the 1987, right? But more like the 1983. It does have similar feels to that. Ziggy says, man, and I'm pissed. The refs, the play calls not throwing the challenge. Yeah, I mean, we could harp on the challenge for sure. I mean, that should have taken 7 points off the board. But I don't know. Do any of you think we really would have beat the Philadelphia Eagles without Brock Purdy? Because, I mean, yeah, if that happens, it probably puts us in a different situation. We'd have the ball at the 35. Maybe he doesn't get hurt. Maybe it changes the game, the way Kyle calls plays, and he doesn't get hurt. But with him getting hurt, I think that is the key to this game. But you're right. That would have taken 7 points off the board. It would have been 0-0. And I don't think there's any Eagle fan that thinks that's actually a catch, right? I think that, when it comes down to it, yeah, he should have thrown the challenge flag. It's unfortunate. Fortall says Lenore is looking very good, significantly improving all season. I agree. This question: how long before the media starts Tom Brady the 4 years BS? Today. I'm guessing today they start with that because they want to get the narratives. David says, Ant, you do a great job. Sorry, I'm just pissed about the no flag. I'm with you. Don't worry, David. I understand. I went through a lot of emotions during this game. And that's how it happens. You go and things happen and you lose. And Oates says, respect to the 49er fans who are man enough to show their face. Good game, guys. Of course, you got to be able to come through it. You got to show up when you win. You got to show up when you lose. It's unfortunate, but that's how it gets done. And super chat from Ziggy. I thought in the first half, our defense had their number. I believe if Purdy didn't get hurt, we win this game. I think it could have been different because there wouldn't have been as many opportunities for the Eagles. It felt like the Eagles had some times where the 49ers stopped them, but the more opportunities you give them, they're going to make plays. They have too many playmakers, and we saw that, and then you also had extended plays because of penalties. Some of them legit. I mean, T.Y. McGill, he got his hand on his face mask. Dre Greenlaw grabbed a face mask. Like those things, extended plays or put them in better situations. And when you give a team too many opportunities, they're going to make plays. But if Brock's at the helm, you probably have longer drives. You're running the football. There's not as many opportunities for the Eagles. It kind of does change the game. But as soon as Brock went out, this game was fundamentally altered, and it was never going to be the same. And Jan says Niners weren't supposed to go this far. It was a good season. I mean, they definitely turned it around. BV says, Ant, when Brock left the game, I knew it was going to be painful, and it was. The injury bug bit us again. It did. The quarterback position was absolutely taken out. Parker says, who would you start at quarterback next year? I think Brock's going to have the lead in the clubhouse unless it's Tommy John. I hope it's not. If it's Tommy John, it will be Trey Lance for sure. But I think those two guys are going to compete next year. And we'll see. We'll see who ends up coming with it. I think Brock will have the early lead on that. So Uncle Rob says, all I asked for was our Niners to take down the Cowboys. Mission accomplished. Yeah, I mean, they had some big wins. It was a fun ride. Some of the cool things. We got Christian McCaffrey. I mean, there was a really cool season, overall. Coming back from that Kansas City loss, winning 12 straight games, like it was spectacular. I will be going to work with my head held high. Nothing to cry about. Our team played their hearts out. I'm with you. I have no problems with the way this team played. They did the best they could. 49ers Josh says, peace and love. I've had enough today. Had a great rest of the day today, faithful. Have a good one. And Bob says, once Brock was out, the game was over. I'm with you on that. That's how I felt too. Travis said, nah. And as soon as Purdy went out, I knew it was just meant to be. It was. Sushi says, Johnson played so scared. I kind of felt bad for him. This game was too big for him. I mean, it's tough. I don't think he expected to play, in this game. Cruz isn't happy. He says game was one-sided. Shake my head. Worst calls by refs. I thought there were some bad calls. I really did. And once it momentum switches with refs, like once they start calling penalties on one team, it's not like they stop. It's like they just continue. So that definitely happens. But I mean, Brock Purdy not being healthy, I don't think we'd have won even without all the penalties. That's just how it was. It was tough. Yeah, and that's what D's saying. Those third down dumb penalties killed us. Those hurt keeping the game close. I just don't know if the 49ers could have scored any points. You know what I mean? They just they couldn't throw the football. I mean, Christian McCaffrey did it all on his own in that drive almost. I mean, we had a better chance with a healthy Josh Johnson than the injured Brock Purdy, but I mean, there's just not a lot there, unfortunately. And heavily injured every year. I mean, yeah, I thought they overcame a lot of injuries this year. So overall, it was pretty good. So guys, I'm going to check out. Thank you guys all so much for coming through for this reaction show. Enjoy the game tonight. I'm going to go watch that game, and we'll get some more content coming your way. I hope you guys all come through and have some fun. Thanks to everyone that has liked the video, subscribed to the channel recently. We've seen a huge uptick in subscriptions, and it's all because of you. So we're going to be, kicking over to the off season here pretty soon. So it's going to be a fun one. But thanks everyone for coming through. All the support you guys have given me all season. I really, really appreciate it. And this is so much fun. But until the next time, stay safe and remember the right way is always the 49ers way.